House of Cards podcast, the show where we break down the art of creative real estate investing. Join us as we dive into the world of real estate with insider tips and tricks for making your investments go further. From buying with no money down to flipping properties for profit, we've got you covered. Plus, stay tuned for expert guest speakers who will share their knowledge and experience in this ever-changing market. So grab a seat and get ready to learn the secrets to success in real estate investing. And now, from Alaska to New York, your hosts, Chris James and Jesse Stanton.
Yes, let's go. It's Saturday, guys. TGI Saturday. How's everybody do it? From Alaska, we literally, Chris, have all like 3 corners of the country covered today. From Alaska to New York to Florida. How you doing, man?
Good. I think there's probably a delay on my end, but I think my computer's catching up. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay.
Leave it, Charlie, my good buddy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's something. It sounds a little muffled. I don't know. Does it sound muffled on your guys' end? Can you guys hear Chris okay? We have an amazing guest, as you guys can see. Yeah. Gita. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Man, that is so much clearer and crisper than Mr. James.
Oh, I took his mic today.
Oh. No, I love it. Good morning. How's the weather down there in your neck of the woods?
Ooh, it's 85 and balmy and sticky and amazing.
Oh, that sounds so wonderful. I'm so jealous. I posted a picture of Alaska, some fall pictures of Alaska a day or two ago. And then somebody commented on there. They said something along the lines of, yeah, man, but it's beautiful. But don't you have like those gigantic mosquitoes up there that you got to have like a hunting license to kill, and you got to have a 12 gauge with like birdshot or something in there? So I was like, yeah, we do. But thankfully, we're past the mosquito stage. But it is nippy outside now. I mean, we're in the 30s now, so 85. I can't even fathom what the hell 85 degrees even feels like. Is that cool for you guys, or is that warm? Cool. Is that good?
It's like comfortable.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
Gosh, dang, man, dude. When we start hitting like springtime, like April, May time frame, and we call it breakup season, because that's when all the ice and the snow and everything like starts breaking up and melting, and it's wet and gross and stuff outside. When the temperature gets up to like 55 degrees, everyone is dying. Everyone's got like their AC on. It's like, oh my gosh. So you can imagine for us, when they hit 70 degrees, everybody's jumping into glacier, rivers and cooling down and all that kind of stuff. It is wild. I cannot fathom 85 degrees. But hey, I appreciate you being on. Thank you very much. This is awesome. Very, very excited to have you on.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you guys.
What about now?
We can hear you, and that's
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I think everything caught back up, but yeah, I'm still in the transition of getting a new laptop, and it's probably gonna be 2028 before I get it, but we'll make it happen.
I was wondering this morning. I didn't know you got a new laptop. I know we've been talking about this for literally like months. And before we jumped on, I thought to myself, it's like, man, Chris isn't glitchy or anything. I don't know what he did, but today's going to be a good day.
It was
the computer.
It was the computer or the user. But so excited to have you on, Gita. Gita, I know you've been there for us for, I want to say almost a year now. A little bit over a year as far as within the company, and there's a lot of different amazing things that you are specifically when we talk about avatars and superpowers. And I think specifically for you definitely don't fit one of them. You fit multiple, and you're truly a unicorn. And a lot of people don't really understand what a true unicorn is. And I think Gita is the true definition of what that looks like, because I can't pinpoint one specific avatar you are. And I want to say, I know Jesse and I talk about you all the time. We're truly thankful for you and for what you're doing, and specifically just what you're going to do in the near future. So we're super excited and super thankful that you're on today. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the kind words. That's blushing.
So the just before we jump right into it, guys, those may or may not know. So I had a little procedure / surgery done on Thursday, right? And I'm on a lot of medicine. I'm on a lot of medicine right now, and it kind of hit home, not hit home, so to speak. But I got in my truck yesterday. Before I got in my truck, just a little quick story. So I went to go pick up food for myself and my son yesterday. So I had the procedure on Thursday. This happened yesterday around like 8 or 9 o'clock, and people who may or may not know me, I'm not a fan of reptiles. When I say reptiles, I'm talking about mice. I'm talking about snakes. I consider spiders, anything along those terms, right? So I look at,
and you're moving down to Florida?
The Geico is going to get me one day. I promise you that.
I warned him. I actually warned him. I'm like, you're not ready for the lizards.
So more so, I'm walking back to my truck, and I see a spider right next to the window, the driver passenger window. So I hurry up and get in the car, and I lock the door. Like, what is this spider going to do? Like, in my head, I locked the door, and not knowing my window was down, if spider still crawl. I'm like, this got to be the medicine. I'm like, it happened within like 3 minutes of that time frame. But I'm like, I got to get home and lay down because there was a lot going on. But it's okay. It's okay. Need a spider kind of fight. The spider won, and it was just a long drive. I was just thinking to myself, no music, just get home, no distractions, because I really thought that locking the door was going to do it for a spider, but what about the window? but more or less, I feel great. The procedure I had Thursday was a little bit nerve-wracking, right? So more so, they had to give me an anesthesia. I was out for about an hour and a half, and it was nervous, like nerve-wracking, like just thinking like, what if I don't wake up? What happens? It's just a lot of different what if factors, right? And
I thought that when I had my vasectomy.
Which time? Which time? It's a lot of different things that went through my head, but more so I'm very thankful and blessed to be here today. That's why I'm very, happy, on the scale level from pain from 1 to 10, I'm probably at a 3 or 4. Maybe it's the drugs, I don't know, the medicine. I'm taking a lot of them until it wears off, but I'm here, I'm breathing, so that's all that really matters. So I'm not gonna go into details as far as what that looks like specifically, but just to give you a generic synopsis, I had a bruised wall cage around my heart, and that dealt with a lot of different things related to stress, me not eating properly, and then all this good stuff. But I'm not gonna go into nitty gritty. They use terminology that I can't pronounce and nor can't spell. So I probably need to give you my doctor's number to go over all the details. But the procedure was successful. I'm here today, and that specifically, I should get more news Tuesday or Wednesday the latest. So I'm pretty sure everything is okay. But if anything was crazy right then and there, they probably would have told me like, hey, you're not leaving. But I appreciate the kind words, Ken and Pam. Thank you guys. You guys mean a lot as well. Ken, I'm super stoked just to get that deal to the finish line. $19 million, Ken. What are we waiting on? $19 million. But appreciate it very much. So I just wanted to share that. You never know what someone's going through, and you never know when it's your last time on this earth, right? And I'm speaking from not saying like I got like 2 months left to live or anything like that. I'm just speaking from more so you really got to cherish what you have. Spend as much time with your family, friends, and all that good stuff, and just ensure that you are doing not weekly, but monthly or even yearly visits, because you never know things. You may feel great, but there may be something internally going on with you. So a good friend of mine has told me that that I gotta make sure I get there, and she's actually on here right now. So what are you doing? Oh, but no, I appreciate it. But no, I guess let's move on. I just want to share that, I did have a procedure, but more so I wasn't ignoring any messages or anything Thursday, Friday. Just more so I was just trying to take care of myself. So if you did reach out, I will get back to you. I promise you that. I'm never the one intentionally ignoring anyone, no matter what the situation is. Thank you, Angel. Truly appreciate that. Angel holding down the fort while I was in recovery, so to speak.
Dude, she was, man. I was blowing her phone up, man. I was like, dude, Chris is occupied right now, and I don't know what I'm looking at with this paperwork, man. And she was awesome, bro. Just jumped in, went through it with me. Fantastic, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
we're glad you're all right, man.
Thank you.
We were thinking about you. We were praying for you. It's interesting, man, because when you have things like that, it certainly makes you kind of reflect a little bit on your life. And as you were kind of just sharing a little bit about that, I was reminded of a story I heard once, man, where and it really kind of just puts things into perspective for how you want to live your life and the things that you want to do. And
Yep.
you really kind of start thinking about the people that are in your life and the way that you're spending your time. And the story goes, imagine you're on your deathbed and you have your family and everybody gathered around you, and it's just silent. And you hear the heart monitor just beep, beep, beep. And you hear your breath getting slower and slower, and your heart rate starts slowing down a little bit more. And you're just looking at everybody around you as you're about to pass. And right when you take your last breath, the nurse that's standing there hands you a vial. And you drink that vial. And what that vial does is it lets you relive one more day. But it's not an extra day. You have to relive a day in your past. And it's not a specific day. You don't get to choose. It's just a random day. And you might be thinking, man, that would be awesome. What's the catch? And the catch is this. You have to relive it the exact way that it played out. You don't get to go back and change anything. So think about those times where, if you're a parent, for example, and you're getting frustrated, there's a lot of chaos going around, and you're just trying to balance phone calls, people relying on you, your kids need stuff at the same time, and it's really easy to kind of get caught up in the chaos of it all. So it's important in those times to make sure that you're cognizant and that you're living in the moment, and really your attention is directed toward the things that are really important. And so no, I appreciate you sharing that, Chris, for one, because that kind of just how it just reminded me of that story, man. And it's easy to look back at our lives and look back and say, man, remember the good old times, remember the good old days. But when you're going through them, you never know that you're in the good old days.
Yeah.
And to be here with you right now and to be with Gita, like the things that we're doing, things that we're going through, like this is the good old days. And so I'm very appreciative of both of your guys' friendships and the fact that we can come in here and do this together. And this would be a day that I would love to relive. So thank you both for the opportunity to be here with you guys. This is awesome.
Thank you, man.
That was beautiful. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good.
I loved that, Jesse. That's like that moment where you pause and you stop and you think and you appreciate. No, I'm going to spread that.
No, absolutely. So guys, it's Saturday, 1:30. Our shows are, start over. Saturday, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time every weekend. There's a lot of things going on this weekend. If you're a sub-2 student, as you already know, there's a mastermind event going on. Supposedly it's supposed to be the last one. They're streaming it. I heard some great speakers already been speaking over the last couple of days, which is phenomenal. So if you are a mastermind alumni, please go back and watch the live recordings, and all specifically is still currently live right now. So don't forget that. And again, you always have access to it if you are a mastermind student sub 2. I do also want to mention specifically, I know we talked about last week in regards to whatever your favorite platform is, as far as the way you want to listen, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. So I actually got up to 13 downloads. So 13 downloads of the episodes. I know we're behind about 32 episodes. So just 32, nothing more, nothing less. But I had a lot of time on my hands in the last couple of days, but more so those are currently being uploaded, and you should see that literally by tonight. So we're getting back in the swing of things in regards to ensure that you guys get the best, not just quality, but also the user experience from the shows, and ensure that we're providing value. So I just want to let you know we are still working on that, and that we did not forget about it. Next week is actually, we're going to have a owner from a title company that we have a great partnership with this, and he's licensed 13 states. He's going to be national extremely soon. We do a lot of volume with him, and more so he can actually give from his owner's point of view from a title company what that looks like, and give us some little inside tips of what not to do, what to do, what's the best practices, and how documents should actually be executed, versus when a lot of people just send random stuff over, which is fine. But so he's going to be on. He's actually partnered with 4 other sister partners, title companies, who specifically may have on there as well. So it may be about 4 or 5 of us next week, or it might just be Aaron. So we'll see what that looks like, but stay tuned for that specifically. It's going to be a great show. But without further ado, we have the one and only Gita. And the reason I never say her last name because I can't pronounce it. I don't pronounce it. I don't say it. I don't mess it up. I don't butcher it. So, so I just keep it short and sweet. And Gita already know how I feel about her. She's an amazing soul, and I genuinely care about her on the not just because on a professional, but personal as well. You know, everything you and your little girls, I know, was the birthday, and technically I know you could be with your little girls because it's their birthday weekend right now, and you're here. So I appreciate you joining us today. And Nan, if you're listening, I appreciate you, man. But Gita's going to talk today about a lot of, bookkeeping, some of the do's and don'ts, and more so why is it important to have a bookkeeper in your life. And, she's been doing this at scale for many, many years. You're talking about 2 decades almost, and specifically,
way to
literally,
age me, thanks.
And literally, when it comes to bookkeeping and keeping things on track is very important, and mixing business with personal accounts, that could be tricky, and trying to stay away from it. And let's be honest, I'm definitely a victim of it. But
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, 100%. So specifically, without further ado, Gita, you want to just talk about a little bit as far as your background, where you came from, but more so how you got to this point where you're doing it at a high level?
Yes, thank you. And thank you again for having me on here. Chris and Jesse are 2 phenomenal individuals. They're like my heart in business. I think of them, and they are doing such incredible things that it's just a blessing for me to be able to be part of what they are doing. So thank you again for having me on, and for all the work, all the working together and everything. I love it. I mean, Jesse being behind a little bit in time, text where I'm like, nope, I'm asleep. You're going to hear from me when it's 1 a.m. for you. But no, these guys are amazing. I absolutely adore both of them. So thank you. A little bit about myself. I have been doing bookkeeping, as Chris said, for pushing on 2 decades. I did graduate high school, so I'm just going early. So I'm going to let you know that. Putting that out there. I was 15. Just want to say that. But I got my 4-year degree, my bachelor's, and I started working as a bookkeeper in a couple companies, and I worked my way up to CFO status. And in 2013, I decided to open my own business, offering bookkeeping services and fractional CFO services. This was all in Canada, and in 2019 moved to the States, to Orlando specifically. And last year, I started it all up here again, and it has honestly been an amazing ride. We have grown exponentially. It was, I tell people, like in 2 months, it went from me starting it to having a team of 6. So it was just amazing how I just popped up, and I had so much support from clients, community, and these guys that it's just been amazing. So what do? We do I've just been doing bookkeeping and fractional CFO work, which what that means is a lot of companies hire a CFO full time, and the CFO will help them with budgeting, with forecasting, with cost analysis, specific reporting. I do that on a part-time basis. So while your company may not be ready for that on the large full-time scale, we can still offer that on a smaller scale.
I love
so
that.
you're a CFO for hire? Like, is that the way that I interpret that? Like any business, like once they're ready for that position, they can just hire you as their CFO.
Yes, and not just like one business, but also as investors, we've got multiple LLCs. We've got like tons, 10, 15, 20, whatever it may be, different businesses. As an entrepreneur, both of you have multiple businesses. What we do is we help with that across the board. So each month you see all your businesses, all your reports, everything all at once, and it's like a snapshot. So you see it all, and every month you're like, or quarterly or however we work together, you see all of that.
Interesting. How many different what's the word I'm looking for? Like with all the clients that you have, how many different areas are they in? Like whether you're in real estate or service-based businesses or internet business or e-commerce or whatever, like how many, like is there a niche that you don't service, or is it all pretty kind of universal when it comes to bookkeeping, or what does that look like?
So I service everything. Just in the 2 decades, I've had my hands on all kinds of books, every single industry, I want to say. And a lot of my clients, they're not just in one niche. So majority of them are, I'm going to say actually 100% of them are all in real estate as well. Let's just put that out there. All of them, they invest with their money. They use their LLCs to work for them, and then they take that money and smartly they invest. They do use that real estate route. So yeah,
interesting. Well, 90% of millionaires that are self-made, I think 90% of it's between 80 and 90% are self-made, and then 90% of those are involved in real estate.
Absolutely.
If that tells anybody, like if that just screams to the type and caliber of individuals and businesses that Gita is working with, I don't know what does. That's phenomenal. That's amazing. So what are some of like the big don'ts, or that people should be wary of? What are some of the big common mistakes that a lot of real estate individuals make when it comes to bookkeeping? I know for the people that Chris and I see a lot of times.
Chris, you want to give the first one?
I was waiting for it.
Is it trying to do it on their own? Is that what it is?
Just say no. I don't actually no, I'll say it. Just try to don't mingle your funds together. Just never do that. In my humble opinion, I learned that the hard way first. If it's business, keep it business. If it's personal, keep it personal. And trying to do it gets kind of hairy for a bookkeeper to try to really keep track and all that good stuff specifically, and really have just keep your books in order, because you really need that specifically. And I'm learning on a daily basis, because I know years ago I did it all the time. Until someone said, "Chris, what the hell are you doing?" And I'm like, I don't know. Help. Help me. I don't know.
Let's hammer down a little bit deeper on that, because I know that's something that I used to do to begin with as well. As I was mixing funds. I was making money from wholesale deals and all those other kind of things, and then I was using that money to cover business expenses. I was also using that same pool to pay my mortgage and just going out and doing all these things. let's dive a little bit deeper onto that for a second, because maybe I think that if I was going to take a guess, there's probably a lot of people who are similarly kind of doing things. So why is that not a good idea?
It's best practices for businesses. I mean, you have to think of it this way. Each entity that you have, each LLC has its own, like you're going to file your taxes on that as that specific entity. When you start commingling and putting your personal stuff, running it through the business, unless you have a phenomenal bookkeeping system and a bookkeeper who knows exactly what that is, you don't want any of that on your reports for your tax filing. And likewise, when you're mixing it between entities, you don't want to have one entity's books reflecting purchases or income from another entity, because again, that's going to mess up your whole tax filing. And if you, like most of us, we have business partners, right? We're not the 100% owner of that LLC. So when you're taking your personal stuff and putting it in an LLC where you have two other business partners, well, you're screwing up their books too. And you're also not being transparent with them in the sense that, you know, it's a shared business. It's an entity you have with other people. You need to respect that it is a business. And so your personal has to stay out of it.
Gotcha. Okay. So how does somebody go over, like, what's a really basic strategy for just like a very basic setup for anybody who's just shoved, like everything's in one account and you're like, stop, we don't need to create, like, we don't need to go all out, but just very basic. Today, this is step one for you to let's start negating that. Well,
if you have one bank account and you don't want to open one up for your business, then 100% just try to dedicate those business things to maybe one day out of the week. So for example, if you're getting paid, only get paid on Fridays from that business so that you can actually see transparently what is coming in that's business related. If you are making any business purchases, use a dedicated credit card for that. Because then at least you know that on that statement, it's going to be for your businesses only. It's not going to have, you know, your spa visit or for Chris, his haircut, you know.
Oh, too funny. Too funny. So Derek says, I learned that the hard way about mixing funds by doing it in my own books. Uncle Sam dropped the hammer. Yeah, that's what we're trying to avoid. And I think that's why we need a bookkeeper, a great, not just any bookkeeper. You need someone who's experienced. And don't get me wrong, we all start from somewhere, if whether, you know, we're green, inexperienced, but, you know, more so you want to ensure that your books are intact. And, I do feel bad sometimes because I know Gita got her work ahead of her as far as all our LCs this year specifically. But we, at the end of the day, we know more so Gita's going to take care, ensure that our books are intact. And that's what you need, because there's a lot of bookkeepers out there. Let's be honest. There's a lot of lazy bookkeepers out there. And, you know, one thing I respect about Gita, she cares about her clients. She cares about not just the clients, but the relationship, and more so ensuring that she's just not mulling over specifically anything and everything. Because more so, perfect example within the transaction coordinating business, we found out we was actually missing money. That's a perfect example where I transparently, I would have never caught it. I would have never caught it unless Gita called me and said, hey Chris, where's this, and this.
Now by missing money, you mean they owe you money?
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Woo! That's a big oversight, man. If you don't got somebody with some sharp eyes on that shit. If you're operating everything out of the same account, there's no way you're going to catch that.
Right.
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest things is when you have money coming in, like if you have 3 LLCs and you're trying to run everything through one bank account, how are you tracking how you're getting paid? What if
Absolutely.
it's in installments, right?
Right.
What if you have installments coming in every month, and then after 1 year it changes? How are you going to be able to catch it? That's a lot of work and a lot of spreadsheets to have to keep when you have your hands in so many different things. When you are an investor and you're in real estate, we know like you could be doing multiple deals. You could be doing multiple wholesale deals, multiple flips, whatever it looks like, multiple creative deals. And having that separation is key.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so more so, Gita, let me ask you this: when should somebody ask for a bookkeeper? Is it at the beginning when they get their first deal, or if they need about 10 to 15 deals before anything, or what stage do you think a bookkeeper is good to come to you? Well, not a bookkeeper, but you actually need a bookkeeper specifically. Or maybe a bookkeeper can come to you. You never know. They need some advice.
I always say that get in touch with someone, a bookkeeper, or even if you just want to talk with a CPA. But if you are going to have a bookkeeper and you plan on having somebody keep your books, which is highly recommended, I'm just going to go off on a bit here, but just to say that bookkeeping is the foundation of all of your financials. You can have a CPA, you can have an enrolled agent, you can have a tax attorney, whatever it looks like. If you don't have the books set up correctly, all of their filings is not, how do you know if it's accurate? Not anything against them, but you need that backing. You need those statements and you need that history.
Yeah.
Right? When you want to show your lenders history, you need to show them exactly what that is. You need to show them a general ledger. You need to show them all your income, your expenses. If you're looking for an investor, anything at all, you need all of that for your businesses. So at what stage should you hire a bookkeeper? I'd say at least speak to one and have a consultation when you open the business, because that way, you can have a good foundation set up where even if you want to do the bookkeeping yourself until you're at a place where you want to bring someone on, then at least have that conversation so you know that all of your income and expenses, you're utilizing your business as it should be used. You're maximizing on all those deductions. And at the same time, you get this advice that says, do not commingle, right? Like keep your bank
100%.
account separate, have a specific credit card for your business, your business has to have its own bank account. And at that point, then you're golden. I think you're in a good position that whatever you do, when you have that foundation set up, it's great.
How do you vet a person? Like once you're at that point and like you said, you're talking to other bookkeepers, how do you know? Like if you're somebody like me who doesn't know anything about numbers, I'm terrible with paperwork, I have no idea how my bookkeeping is supposed to be done. If you're like Chris and I, where we're just like, who, not how do I know that I'm working with a great bookkeeper?
Communication is key. Have questions ready for them. And yes, how do you know what questions to ask? Well, ask them about their experience. Ask them if they know your industry. They must know your industry. If you try to get somebody who does restaurant bookkeeping, trying to do real estate bookkeeping, it's going to be a mess, right? They have to understand your industry and your actual business. Ask them about, what they do, how they operate. How often are they going to be looking in your books? How often are they going to be reconciling? That is a big one. I get a ton of clients who come from other people whose books have never been reconciled. What that means is we look at the bank statement and we look at all your transactions and we make sure every penny matches and everything is categorized exactly how it should be for your business.
Wow.
I love that. So
I would say that those are key things to ask, and just having them know your industry, that's the most important. And that goes with trying to find a CPA as well. You need someone who understands what you are doing.
100%. Well, I appreciate I found you. Jesse, I speak for Jesse as well, and I do think everything does happen for a reason. So I can't thank you enough. I don't thank you. I don't say thank you enough transparently, but I know sometimes we have disagreements about the
Hey Chris, what'd you use the card for? Why'd you use that? I saw you at the
like Gita wasn't me. I promise you someone stole my card. But I appreciate you explaining that, because a lot of people don't really understand, like, far as the nitty gritty that goes behind what a good bookkeeper looks like, and everyone wants to do it themselves because a few things. Let's be transparent. They want to be I wouldn't say cheap, but more so they just don't want to spend the money. They don't want to spend the money, and then when they try to look for a bookkeeper, it's too late. and then that's where you got to play catch up, and you got to spend a lot more money for this whoever you hire as a bookkeeper like yourself to actually want to catch you up. So they don't understand, like, you're actually digging yourself in a hole trying not to pay for a bookkeeper now rather than in the future. And I think having a bookkeeper, I wish I would have had a bookkeeper a long time ago, like since day one I got into real estate. And
You and me both, Chris. I wish we had one a long time ago.
but very thankful. And more so, Pam mentioned she need to book appointment with Gita. How do they even book appointments with you? What does that look like specifically?
So they can go to my website, gpdadvisors.com. And on there, you can find all information, everything we do. My team is phenomenal. They are all handpicked by me, trained by me. And one thing which surprises people is when you are working with us, I am the only person you will deal with. And it has nothing to do with trust issues on my team. They are phenomenal. As I said, I picked them. But it's more, I am big on understanding each client's books. And so my time is dedicated to hopping from meeting to meeting with clients as they need them based on their books, while my team supports me by handling their books. So every set of books that comes to us and that we work on has at least 3 sets of eyes on it before you even see a report, just to make sure that everything is done as it should be.
Wow.
And on top of that, again, I'm the only person you're going to talk to. You could text me, you could call me, you could email me. I will respond within 24 hours max. And that's kind of where my user service level is at. I want to make sure that these are your finances. This is your money. This is the money you're working for. And I want to make sure that you know where it's going. And as like in Chris's example, that you're not missing any, someone owes you money, they should pay you.
Yeah.
Your guys' slogan, I think I saw it on the website, is it's your money if you want it now. We'll get it to you.
Yes, exactly.
That's too funny.
Pam asked a great question. Actually, this was something I wanted to ask you as well. What accounting software do you use? Or should real estate investors or anybody who needs a bookkeeper, should we invest in any sort of software, or do we just reach out to a bookkeeper first and go with whatever they recommend or are currently using? Or what's kind of step one in the process here?
So, excellent question. I personally have been using QuickBooks for a very long time. QuickBooks for me it's something that I can work with, I'd say, the majority of my clients. Like, we're talking 99.5%. And so there's QuickBooks Online, there's QuickBooks Desktop. Which do I use? Well, have a call to see which your bookkeeper is comfortable with, because they are very different. Even though it's the same company, they are very, very different. And you need to have someone who not only understands your industry and everything, but they also have to know how to input your books. So it's more like finding a person, great. Ask them all the questions. Do they know about my business? Perfect. Okay. Do you know how to use this software? Do you know how to use this software for my business? Great. Let's go. Sign me up.
Yeah, I think QuickBooks is actually compatible with a lot of different services, or integrations. You can add to whether CRMs or different bank accounts. I'm actually learning that on a daily basis, that QuickBooks is actually becoming a pretty streamlined with a lot of different CRMs and services.
Yep. And they've got tons of apps too, which you can integrate. Like, I mean, even for example, DocuSign, you can integrate DocuSign into QuickBooks. And when you send off estimates or invoices or anything, you can get a signature to say that they've accepted. And there you go. You have a contract with that person already saying they already signed that they're going to pay this. So here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Do you have
neat.
any advice or insight into like best practices for tracking income from, and expenses from different properties or portfolios or anything like that?
Yes. So if you are not going to go with an accounting system, then I would say a spreadsheet needs to be your best friend.
Just like an Excel document?
Like an Excel document. Yes. Like have it per business and, use the tabs on the bottom and per property and split it up. Income, expenses. If you want to split it, you could go into as much detail as you want. Mm-hmm. We actually offer that service as well, and we set it up for a lot of our clients not only with properties, but with lending. When they have multiple lenders and they need to track all of their lenders and, what percentage is return. When is the balloon payment? How much is it per monthly? When does it change?
Yep.
And that is something extra that we do in order to make sure that what the information you give us, we are tracking it. And if anything does change, we catch it immediately because it's not from the norm.
I love that, man. I love that. So they've got you guys. If a title company or a lender, anybody owes you money, man, Gita's all over it.
Pam asked a great question. In QuickBooks, is each property set up as a customer?
Great question, Pam. So it depends how you want to set it up. You can set QuickBooks up with properties as customers. Otherwise, there are some background ways that make it a little more intricate where you set it up as a class so that each property has classes, and then you assign, say, for example, utilities. You can assign classes to the various utilities so that you're kind of tagging that property. And then when you want to provide a report, you can provide a report per property, but it's still going to have those same expenses. So if you want your whole LLC, you can see your whole LLC. If you want to see one property, you can see one property. If you want to see two, you can see two.
I love that. I love that. You need a very detail-oriented individual behind the scenes, and that is Gita with the bookkeeping all day, 100%. And that's just amazing because everything she's stating right now, I did not know this at all. You would think like you could run a successful company and all good stuff. Let's be honest, right? Every successful company, you do have individuals who are great bookkeepers who are keeping the company afloat. Because if you have a lot of money going in and out, you're going to miss little things like that. Especially if you're doing it at a high scale or even just starting out. You just need the little things taken care of. Because on a hypothetical, what if Gita didn't catch that? And then all of a sudden 6 months go by, 6 years go by. There's probably missing about, $150,000, $200,000, right? All that stuff adds up. And, I know I'm giving examples, but it really adds up. Whether it's $1 or whether it's $10,000, you need a good bookkeeper that's attention to detail on your books. No if it's about that, whether you got one entity or 100 entities. And I'm glad you mentioned that you're able to help a lot of people on that. Whether they're inexperienced or not, because a lot of people get nervous that, I don't really have anything going for me, not going for me, but I don't have anything right now to actually keep track of. But it's good to actually put it in order. I think that's a great start. Have it in order so when you do have stuff coming in, it's more so a great conveyor belt. And I think that's great. And I think I should have got the conveyor belt going a long time ago for me.
Okay. We slowed down the conveyor belt a bit for you, and now we're going to ramp it up. We're almost there at speed. We got you, Chris. Don't worry.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And more so, I know you mentioned how people can reach out to you. Is there a specific Calendly link, or is there how do they book schedules with you? What does that look like?
So I do have a Calendly link, but they could do it from my website, directly from my website.
Okay.
All our information is on there. How we work. You can fill in an intake form. Or you could, I know Chris knows I love my intake forms. That just helps us prepare for your phone call, see if there's anything specific. We can prepare ahead of time before we hop on a call. And then my Calendly link is right there. We offer a free 15-minute consult. If you feel like there is more information you need, we do a 30-minute, a 1 hour. I'm just going to also let you know something else that I do is if you want to handle your bookkeeping, but you just want someone to check you're doing okay, that you're doing it correctly, and make sure that we offer that service. So you can handle your books. I will even train you to do your books. I will train you to do your bookkeeping on whatever scale you're at. And then maybe once a month, once a quarter, I'll go in, take a look, let you know, if anything needs to be changed, maybe something's missing, maybe something's miscategorized. I'll go and reconcile it for you if you're not comfortable doing that yourself. And then we just move forward. So come December 31st, January 1st, everything is done. There's no freaking out about getting your taxes and then having to file late and everything, because it's ready on a silver platter for your CPA.
Amazing. Yeah, Pam made a great point there. You know, you pay for the sub to community or any mentorship at that. It's good to keep track of that. Definitely good.
Yeah.
Good to keep track of that because a lot of people don't understand. Like at the end of the year, there's a lot of different things that I don't take in consideration when more so needing a bookkeeper. Like for instance, if you're going on these trips specifically, like if you're going to travel for work or whatever that looks like, um, it need to be on a specific card. Versus, you can't, like there's ways around it, but more so you always want to make a streamline where if you're going for a work related business, just use your business card or for that specific entity. If it's related to something else as far as personal pleasure, then use that. There's a lot of different pros and cons, but more so I can't really speak to that. That's more so a Gita conversation when you guys book the consult with her, and you whatever questions you may have, she's going to tell you the truth. She's not going to be around the bush. She's just going to tell you like, hey, you shouldn't be doing this or you should be doing this, or hey, I think what you're doing is you already got a great system in place. What we can do is kind of alter it this direction. There's a lot of different ways she will guide you, and one thing I'm very thankful of, she's a straight shooter. So so I need that in my life. So
Some may say I'm blunt.
yeah.
But it's, as I said, with money, you don't mess around.
Yeah,
What is the point
100%.
in working so hard if you don't know where your money is going, if you don't know what is happening with it? It's like we all hustle. We all hustle to see that payday. We hustle so we can retire early. We hustle for whatever reason, our family, or, so we can go on vacations and travel the world. Whatever your reason is, it's a small investment at first. And yes, I know I'm biased, but it's a small investment at first just to have everything set up. Have someone take a look to see that, okay, what I'm doing is working, what I'm not doing is not working. How do I refine this? How do I optimize my business? How do I optimize my deductions? What are the tax benefits of specific things? And just having someone guide you through that so that you are utilizing every tax deduction out there in the best possible way. They're out there for a reason. So utilize them. And if you don't know about them, you're not going to be able to use them.
I agree.
100%. So if Chris and I are going to go down to Phoenix next month, we can't put that on our personal credit cards.
Nope, we're gonna put on Gita's card.
I'm coming. You didn't know.
That'll be easy to track.
Easy to track. There you go.
So business trips and everything, you want to keep them separate with your business. And if it's business related, that is a deduction, right? That is a business deduction.
Everything, like the entire trip, like the flights, the hotels, the dinners, everything on the business card.
As long as it's a business expense. Now, there's a fine line. You want to not commingle. So if you are going down and you're taking your whole family of 8, you're
I'm not taking the fam back.
Your portion as a deduction, not the whole family of 8.
Nope. Not this time. Just me and Topher Earl. Just gonna go tear it up in Phoenix. So that whole thing, just business then?
Yeah, like I go for conferences, and so my flight, hotel, and any meals I have with clients, I run as a deduction. Any meals I'm having just my, whatever, myself, those are mine, fine. But anything, even when you have business partnerships, think of it, you meet somewhere and you can run a meal expense through your business when you're having a business meeting. Right? It's just, you have to just be cognizant of understanding that certain percentage is personal and some of it is business. And you have to be able to draw that line so that you're not commingling. And so you're not trying to run something through your business that you shouldn't.
100%. Well, I appreciate you saying that because, and thank you again for coming on here, because I think this is just one of those things that oftentimes, like Chris and I first were when we first got started in real estate a couple of years ago, is real easy to start commingling things and you're running expenses at accounts that shouldn't be and all that other kind of stuff. And we often get in the mindset, especially when we're starting out, that we have to do everything ourselves, that we have to manage the money. We have to call the sellers. We have to close the deal. We have to do the paperwork and all these other kind of things. So it truly is a blessing to have, you come on here and be able to articulate and explain in detail how you could do it differently, how to vet a bookkeeper, questions you should be asking, and just kind of getting things set up right from the get-go. So come tax season, everybody's, that's something that, none of us are going to avoid. So, I look at your money and your taxes and paperwork just in the same. Those are two things that you can't afford to F around with. And so that's why I'm always so big on finding the who, because I don't want to be the one to mess it up. My taxes and my paperwork on these deals. So I'm very grateful for you and Chris beyond words. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on and sharing all that. That's terrific.
Thank you. And I'm just going to throw one more thing out. Communication. When you do find your bookkeeper who's going to work for you, communicate with them. You need to tell them what you are doing and when and why. They cannot guess, or well, they can. But
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. I'm going to bring up the time. I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah, story time.
So I got a call. I think it was actually early in the morning. I can't remember what time.
Was it at 1 a.m.? Was it at 1 a.m.?
No.
It's only for you, Jesse.
Only for you, Jesse.
Thanks,
it was. I wouldn't say it was a random call because I do talk to Gita quite frequently, but it was out of the blue call more so because her team are amazing at what they do. They check all my accounts and all that good stuff, and the question just started off specifically asking, quote unquote, "Hey, what did you withdraw out the ATM?" And I'm like, shit. Did I just take money out the ATM? And I realized, yeah, I did take money out the ATM, but I thought about it like. And my first thought, why do I need to tell her? But I'm thinking like, wait a minute, I do need to tell her specifically why I took it out, the reason for it, because she's keeping track of my whatever I'm doing with the money. If I'm taking out $500,000 of the account, she needs to know exactly what's that being allocated to. No ifs or buts about it, because she has to keep track of it. So she has every right to call me at whatever time it may be to ask me those specific questions. And then ever since then I never took out any more money, but I always kept it within the account. But that's a perfect example where you need those kind of bookkeepers keep a track of you. No ifs or buts about it, and staying on top of you, because more so that's a perfect example where that was less than 24 hours. They check it every day. And I think that's phenomenal. Like imagine like running a Wells Fargo. Let's say you got a Wells Fargo account, and you have them monitoring for like suspicious activity. Then you have another bookkeeper who's also overseeing your accounts. That's double protection, and I love that. My first thought was, Gita, actually someone stole my card. I don't know where that money went. I don't know what you're talking about. We need to report this immediately.
Like, I don't know. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I'm like, no. It was right after you got your Starbucks. Why'd you take money
she did.
out?
Yeah,
the Lambo was a business expense.
But no, I think that's amazing, and I had to reflect on that because a couple of years ago, I was thinking like, no, I'm not telling her nothing, but this is essential of having a bookkeeper. They need to know where the money is being allocated to. And Zach said, thanks for coming on, Gita. And
yes, thank you. It's as Chris said, like these are the things. It protects you and your business when you have someone else checking. You have someone catching these things. Not everyone is paper oriented or savvy with this type of tracking or keeping things organized. So find someone who will. Find someone who's got you covered in that department so that you're good to just go out and, make deals and bring the money in.
Absolutely. So we got a few minutes left, guys. If we have any further questions, you can throw them in the chat, and or specifically you can book appointment with Gita. Again, she offers a free 15-minute consult. She can go over your books or whatever that looks like and give you the direction you're really looking for. She does have her website right on the screen, gpadvisors.com. From there specifically, I think you said within the website they can book a consult. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that is her phone number as well. Again, feel free to reach out to her. She's a live individual. Not at 1 a.m. No.
Unless you're in Alaska.
12:58, guys. You got the 12:58 to make some calls. But it was great to have you. It was definitely great to have you. And Pam asks, is there a list of speaking events on your website?
Oh, so no, there is not. But that's an excellent idea, Pam. I'm going to take that. I do attend a few conferences and that. So no, that's a phenomenal idea. I will put that on there, Pam. Thank you.
I think it's a phenomenal question. And so, guys, we'll be back next week, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll have a great entrepreneur himself. He's an investor. He actually owns properties as well, and also specifically owns a title company. So it'd be pretty neat to have Aaron on, explain some of what they do in the ins and outs as far as within the actual title company, some things they look for, and not all title companies do. Let's be honest, not all title companies are efficient enough to even look out for the nuances with the paperwork and all that good stuff. And I think we're going to learn a lot, specifically even myself, although, I'm doing numerous transactions with them. I think this is going to be a great experience from everyone. And more so, he's a very genuine individual. He's a husband. He's also got kids as well. Not as many as Jesse, but more so, we're all trying to catch up to Jesse.
Combined, we'll get to Jesse.
Hey, you know what? I've got a leg up on you guys. I've got 6 months of darkness. What are you going to do?
That is very true. Very, very true. And so, and guys, again, there's about 8 to 9 downloads I already have in regards to I'm sorry, I'm looking at it right now. There's about 13 downloads. I'll get them up and going on Spotify and the rest of the platforms you guys like to listen to. Again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. We're on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, so much more, guys. If there's not a platform out there that we don't have, we're literally on every last one of them, unless you guys are talking about remember Walkmans. Remember Walkmans? Oh my God!
The Walkmans were better than the Discmans because I'd always put the Discmans in my backpack and ride my bike to school, and it'd always skip every time I hit every time I hit a rock or a pothole. I couldn't bunny hop my bike or nothing, man.
No, you couldn't.
Dude, it was a big deal when you got like the 15-second anti-skip protection that came on those things. You remember that?
Oh my God! I feel really old saying that. Oh, that's horrible. That is horrible. Any final thoughts, Jesse?
No, thank you again. Thank you again, Gita. This is tremendously invaluable. I'm such a big believer in who, not how. And when you can focus on one thing and you can let somebody else be the Michael Jordan of what they do, come in and collaborate and take over those, responsibilities of other things that isn't a good use of either your time or it's just not a skill that you have. And like you said, like you focus on just continuing to do what you do to make money and, allow other people to do the same thing. So I really appreciate you and Chris in both of those aspects, but in more ways than you guys truly understand. So thank you again for coming on. And just a quick reminder, man, just to kind of bring this back home from when we started this, just make sure to take the rest of your day and be present, be in the moment. Be express gratitude. Notice those small things. Like, think to yourself, if you had to relive today, how different would that be? How different would your interactions with individuals be? What kind of time would you take to really take everything in and just feel abundance and gratitude? And I'm very grateful for you, Gita and Chris. Thank you both for making my day better and making my life better. I appreciate you guys. I love you both.
I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, both of you.
And guys, without further ado, please feel free to reach out to Gita. She's there. You need her. Trust me. I thought I didn't need her, but trust me, Jesse and I learned the hard way, and more so specifically, we're very thankful for Gita and everything. So, guys, feel free to reach out. For any one of us, we're here to be a resource specifically, whether you're looking for deals, paperwork, TC, and bookkeeping. Feel free to reach out to any one or all, whatever you want to do. Or hey, you want to get on a call with all three of us? Let's make it happen. Let's
go.
Let's make some money and let's buy some properties.
Thanks for listening to the House of Cards podcast with Chris James and Jesse Stanton. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and have learned something new about real estate investing. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more tips and tricks. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode.